So thank you so much for joining us today. We are very honored to have you share your story
Thank
and
you.
your work, your upbringing to our audience. So I know that it's very inspirational. So a lot of people will be inspired from your story.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So how where did you bring up? Where did you
Where'd you grow up?
grow up? Yes, thank you.
So I grew up in Watts, California. It's a small neighborhood in South Central Los Angeles. I grew up with an older brother and a single mother who raised me and him. And yeah, I went to school there. I graduated from Jordan High School. I joined College Track Watts, which is a college prep program for the people at Jordan. They also have like for other schools as well, like similar to communities like mine. But yeah, that's where I grew up in Watts.
How did you find out about all those opportunities like college what and does every student from your high school join those programs?
No, no, not every school, not every student joined, but I wish they would have because honestly, it's such a good program. And I feel like kids and teenagers need to join things like this, because in communities like the one that I grew up in, there's a lack of resources. Not a lot of people get help, to go to college and get out of Watts. Um, but I found out through school, college track, they started with a little bungalow right next to Jordan, which was in the projects. And then they announced it in school, and I was like, oh my God, like that sounds so dope. Like, I need to join. And so I joined my freshman year, and I'm still part of college track to this day. They're going to be with me till I graduate from college. And yeah, that's how I learned about them.
That's wonderful.
That is, yeah.
Yeah. So how was it growing up with a single mom? And
Oh,
did you learn from her as a young woman?
Mhm.
a lot. It was tough. It was definitely tough, but I'm forever grateful that I grew up the way I did because it taught me so many things. My mom had to manage, having to go to work while having to take care of two kids. My older brother, he was usually the one that would have to take care of me or take me to school when my mom was working because she would work all day nonstop. It was really tough for her. And I was able to see how much effort and work she put in. And regardless of her like having to be out all the time because she had to work, like she still made time for us. She did what she could, and she raised me right. I'm always gonna be thankful for that. So it taught me a lot. Like women are powerful creatures. Honestly,
Mhm.
like they do so much. Like we would never be here if it wasn't for women. Like literally. So I learned so much. I learned to, be a hard worker. I learned to be humble from her. Um, and I learned how to give love, regardless of all the bad things that are going on in life. Like, you still have to give love.
Yeah. It sounds like it helps you to stay grounded and not
Yeah.
lose yourself. Because I can imagine it's tough to kind of keep your head above water in that situation.
Yeah.
And you said you had an older brother, right?
Yeah. My older brother.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have an older brother as well, and I can only imagine what that experience was like. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of strength in that, and
Yeah.
you're here now, so it seems like it
Yeah.
worked out well.
Yeah.
Um, but fast forwarding to Elastio
Yeah.
and that whole process. So what was it like? Um, joining Elastio and the experience kind of developing through that. What was that like for
Um, so I learned about Elastio through College Track Watts as well.
you? Mm-hmm.
I believe it was my sophomore year. The staff at College Track, they're great. They wanted me to get involved in like summer programs and try to figure out who I am, what I want for a career or my purpose in life.
Mm-hmm.
And so they told me, one of the staff members told me like, hey, there's this like really cool like organization and they're like giving free scholarships for students to travel to Washington DC. I was like, well, no way, like how are they going to pay for my plane ticket and everything to take me all the way over there? I was like, this sounds too good to be true. And he was like, no, look, like I'll tell you more. And he started telling me more. He told a bunch of students too. And at first I was really hesitant, because I had never been out of like, the state on my own. And it's something really scary, to be out on your own and across the country. Um, but I knew that it would like help me learn. And I was so used to being in like this safe space, which was Watts. And I was like, no, like I need to step out of my comfort zone. So I applied to the scholarship and, wrote a couple essays, and then they interviewed me and they're like, okay, you got the scholarship. I was like, wait, no way. Like I still can't believe it. Even to the day that we were on the way to the airport to going to Washington, I still couldn't believe it. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm really doing this. And I feel like it was a great opportunity because, they take you to Washington, D.C., where, a lot of historical things happened, and to museums and university tours. And you get to learn a lot that they don't teach you in school. And it also teaches students and young teenagers, gets you like a little like insight of how it would be if you were to go to college out of state or things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got involved with them. And, I've been a part of Elastio to this day. I'm now a board member. The first alumni that's a board member.
Probably.
Yeah, yeah, I'm the youngest and the only alumni and the first board member of Elastio. And I also lead the brand ambassador program for Elastio. Cause yeah, like I went on the first trip in 2018. I went again in 2019. And then when COVID hit, we were doing everything on Zoom. So, talking to speakers and learning about more things. And I still join those virtual experiences to this day. So yeah, honestly, Elastio is a great organization.
Yeah, I know. I wish we could have Aaron simultaneously here to kind of.
I know.
He will definitely come on and tell us more about Elastio because I did go on that trip with you in 2018. Yeah, which was incredible, and all the kids that was there, what they learned, and visiting schools, visiting we visited the Museum of Black History, the Black Museum in DC. What's the name of that museum?
I don't know. I don't remember the name of it. But...
Yeah, so it was really incredible, even for me. So and I can relate to you because when I was a teenager, I think 18, I visited a museum for the first time. It was a genocide museum back home in Rwanda, and my life changed. Literally, the way I see life, my perspective towards life changed. The decisions that I started making afterwards changed, which I think also it changes our destiny. So,
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Was what you mentioned about flying and with the opportunity of going on your own? Is that something that happens often in Watts? How is the community in Watts?
No way. There would be no way I would be able to travel at such a young age. Be able to afford that. Watts is a community that unfortunately we don't have a lot of resources. Not a lot of kids from my community go to college. A lot of them just work, regular 9-to-5s and stuff. So it was, something that I would have never been able to do on my own, at least at this age, I would have never been able to travel, learn all the things that I did because I learned so many things, so yeah, I would have never been able to travel. I know my peers that went on that trip as well, I know they could say that, they could confirm that as well, because like I said, unfortunately, Watts is a place that they don't have a lot of resources. Until recently, like College Track Watts and Elastio, like they're trying to help us out, which is great for the community. I think they should keep doing what they're doing. And, I'm so thankful for them that they're doing that.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It is, yeah. What do you think now you are a board member? That's high praise. I wish I could say I was a board member or something, but
when you were 19.
Yeah, well, 19. But what do you feel like you have taken away from the whole experience? Because it sounds like you've done a lot of growth, a lot of growing personally. Do you feel like you are now in a better position to maybe give back to your community, to students who also sort of need the same thing in your own community?
Yeah, for sure. I think I've grown a lot as a person thanks to Elastio. I've definitely matured so much and learned so much from them. And yeah, I do feel like I'm in a position now that I can give back to my community, which that's always been my goal. And I mean, I'm taking the first step now, by being a board member, hopefully expanding and, getting the word out to more of the kids at the schools in my community and stuff like that. Because like I said myself, when I first heard about Elastio, I had second thoughts about it. I was like, I never been out of the country. I'm going to be on my own. And I know a lot of students in Watts probably think the same thing because they are so used to being in Watts that they don't know like how to step out of their own comfort zone. So I definitely feel that by being a board member of Elastio, I'll be able to, encourage them, tell them like, hey, I've been in your shoes before. I've been there. And, it's okay. I encourage you to do it. I encourage you to join. I encourage you to, join this amazing program and, go see the world for yourself and learn all the things that you don't learn in school.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing because because sometimes when we grow up in this one community and we don't get to get outside of it, we don't realize how much we can gain from somewhere else. But also when those opportunities are not around, it's you don't know what's there for you. You don't know what more you can accomplish. So I'm so glad that all the college Watts and all these programs comes to these underserved communities because Watts is not far from Los Angeles. It's in LA, literally. Yeah. It's not far from Beverly Hills. It's not far from Venice Beach. But when but the lives are completely different. It's almost like two different countries. And for me, as a foreigner, it's always shocking to me. but I'm glad that some people are thinking like Elastio and other nonprofit organizations. They go out of their way and explore more, and they make wonderful students like you because your knowledge, you're smart, you're a very smart young woman.
Thank you.
So all these opportunities are needed for you to be able to expand, Yeah, so I'm so happy that I traveled with you guys because all the kids were amazing. They were so smart. Really, they were super smart, and I did learn a lot from you. So thank you so much for coming today and talking to us. We're going to try to get Erin on to talk about the programs, and then we'll have you back.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. You're amazing. We'll talk to you in a minute. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So once again, let's see.
Since okay, now it should work. Just him though. He did
That was great. And I'm excited to ask her a couple more questions.
We'll give her that the feedback.
Yeah. So Erin, I think Instagram won't let Erin join for whatever reason. It's great that young people are have the opportunity to grow and to experience different aspects of life.
Absolutely.
Because what she said about people students in Watts not really stepping outside of the community, or it feels like it's very, I don't know, safe maybe.
It's safe because it's safe for them because it's family, it's the people they've known before, and I feel like it becomes a safe place for the students. So I remember when in high school when I did one program that really Erin, I think this guy should work. Because I remember it was a nonprofit called Ages Trust, which I became an ambassador for them.
Yeah.
I youth peace ambassador, but I think from then.
Whoa.
Oh.
Wow. Now I want to let you know that on my screen right now it says Instagram keeps stopping, so it's gonna close me out.
Really?
So he's frozen.
Oh.
So I wonder if it's his connection maybe.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's his connection.
Well, anybody who sees his face, even though it's frozen, that's Aaron Friedman, one of the co-founders of Elastio, and we really wanted him to hop on and talk to us about this wonderful organization, but I don't know if we're going to get the opportunity. Oh, he's gone.
I think it might be internet at his.
It may be his internet, unfortunately, but.
And Aaron, if you probably can sign out from your Wi-Fi and just use.
Oh, he says not the connection. Something with Instagram and his phone. Oh man. Oh, the app keeps on shutting down.
Oh,
well, that's
okay.
unfortunate.
That's all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate because we thought you guys would learn a lot about Aaron's leadership and how what inspired him to start last year,
Mm-hmm.
which it could inspire somebody who's watching right now to go out there and help somebody in need, and how much it doesn't really require too much effort. It's just literally giving a hand. It's like even giving the kids great advice, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Oh, he was asking if we can call him or put him on speaker. It's okay. Should we try to call him?
No, let's go back to Leilany.
Yeah,
Let's try to keep
Aaron,
it.
we are going to talk to Leilany and then we'll call you. How does that sound?
He's typing right now, but Leilany, we're gonna go back to you if you're still in the.
Just give us a little hard time.
Yeah, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Go back to Leilany. Okay.
Hey, Leilany.
Hi.
Again.
You are going to be the founder of last year because you're we're going to replace Aaron. Take over.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that he couldn't, join.
I know. So we're going to ask you from the point of the leader in Olastio.
Okay.
Yes. What did inspire you to feel like you want to be part of the leadership team in Olastio, and why?
Everything that I went through being a part of that as a student, I know how much it impacted me in a great way, and honestly, like the first time that I went on that trip, I felt so free. I was talking about how a lot of people in Watts, they don't get out, just because they're so used to the place where they are, and, since I went through that and, when I went on that trip, I was like, oh my God, there's a whole world outside of Watts,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned a lot going on that trip. It was an amazing trip. I had fun. I learned a lot of things. It was informational, educational. And so because I see how well it impacted me, I was like, the people in my community have to experience this too, Yeah. So when Aaron invited me to be a board member, I was like, yes, I'm all in. He didn't even have to finish his sentence. I was like, yes, I'm in. I want to be able to help you expand this, get the word out. Not just to Watts, but to communities similar to mine, so that all the kids, they're able to see that there's this company that wants to help them, that genuinely wants to help them. And so that's why I was inspired to, be part of Elastio, be a board member, because I know, from a student perspective, I could help them with a lot and help a lot of students as well.
Yeah.
That's amazing. For somebody who's never heard of Watts, who don't know what it is and where it is, and the set of that whole community and the culture there, can you please give people a little background so they understand when you're talking about Watts, so they understand what it is?
Yeah, for sure. So Watts is a small neighborhood located in South Los Angeles. It's actually very popular for being so small. There's a lot of famous people that have mentioned it in their songs, like Tupac, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Watts is a small community. South Central is predominantly Black and Hispanics. It's the hood, as we call it, right? So yeah, there's a lot of culture because, we have Black culture, we have Hispanic culture. And with Hispanics, there's Guatemalans, Mexicans, Salvadorians, Hondurans, all that stuff. So it's just a community where minorities, Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of resources, but, we're working on that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's a few people because we have this broadcast all over the world, and I'm sure a lot of people don't know where Watts is or kind of what it's about.
And I'm sure everywhere in the world there is a small city like Watts. So there's a lot of people that can relate to what you're talking about, even though they come from different countries, different backgrounds, different religion and all that stuff. But the culture there. I know a city in Rwanda, a small city in Rwanda that definitely sounds like Watts.
Yeah.
Yes. Or in Dallas, there's South Dallas. Is it South Dallas?
South Dallas.
Yeah. So I think what you're sharing now, there's so many people that can relate to your upbringing, to who you become. Somebody here commented and said they're very proud of who you've become. So
I don't think I could see the comments.
Yes, it was, I think, Christine. She said she's very, very proud of the person you've become. So that's it's an inspiration. It's all the hard work you've been doing and and the future.
You're inspiring, and kind of segueing. It is Women's History Month.
Yes.
What does it mean to you? What does Women's History Month mean to you? And is there a weight to it? Especially now that you are, you're doing things that perhaps you didn't think that you were capable of doing or were able to do in the past. So what does Women's History Month now mean to you?
Women's History Month is everything to me, because I'm a woman. It's just a month to honor women, because we've never been equal, unfortunately, which is so crazy to me because it's just like, touch me like I'm human, I'm human. Like, why do I not get treated the same? And I'm a woman and I'm a minority. I'm a Latina, so it means everything to me. It's just 1 month out of the 12 months that we just focus on women and all of the accomplishments that we've made, because we've came a long way, especially in America. There's times where we couldn't even vote. There's times where we couldn't even work. Or couldn't go to school. So Women's History Month is just a time to honor all the women in the past that were brave enough to step up for the rest of us and, make history and make a change for us. So it's everything to me. And honestly, I'm proud to be a woman. It's very inspiring because, I know that I'm capable of doing as many things as a man can, So Women's History Month is everything to me.
Who's your hero? Who's your Shiro?
My Shiro.
Yes.
There's so many. For one, my mom, single mother raising 2 kids on her own. That was really tough. So I'm forever thankful for her. She's my Shiro. And another person that, gets talked about a lot, but doesn't get as much appreciation as she should, I think is Rosa Parks, because, she was a woman of color. And, back then, first of all, minorities, people of color didn't have rights at all. They were segregated and all these things, went through horrible things. And then on top of being a Black woman, she was a woman, So the fact that she told a white man no, that he couldn't take her seat, that's wow, you're a woman? You're Black and you told him no, that's some badass stuff, So she's definitely one of my Shiros because she stood up for us. She told a white man no, and I just feel like she doesn't get appreciated as much. A lot of people talk about her in school, but they don't really capture how much guts that took for her to do such a thing.
That's something that I'm hearing from you that I think more people need to sort of embody is sort of translating what we learn in school, right? Because what we learn, we read off of a page, we read out of a book, but a lot of times kids have a hard time sort of translating that to their personal lives and, making that be who they are, acting through those things that they learn. But you seem to be kind of taking these things in stride and making them personal, and having them kind of be fuel to your own fire. And when I was in high school, in college, that's something that I was really cognizant about. And I'm sure you're the same way, is how am I going to be able to carry these things and make it tangible and make it a thing that I
Yeah.
use to walk in my day-to-day life. But there's a perspective that you seem to have that I don't want to say most kids don't have, but it's rare. It's rarer to find young people, and that's partially why we wanted to have you on, because you do have this perspective and you are you are young. But that's something that more kids, more young people in the entire world, not just the States, but obviously the entire world, where everybody wants to make a difference. Everybody has these ideas of how to change the world, how to leave their mark, but very few people put those things into action. And I don't know. There's a beauty in that, and I think that you so far are doing a really good job of embodying that thing that we all want to see. Yeah,
absolutely. So how does I'm just gonna how so COVID has hit the whole world, and especially communities that don't have a lot of resources. How has it impacted you as a person and as a community as a whole, and how are you managing? How are you handling it?
Well, it's impacted me in a lot of ways because just like, Alex mentioned, I take it personal because, and going back to Alastio, it stands for our lives as seen through each other. Like the things that happen to other people, like you see your life through them, through the things that they go through, because you're like, hey, like that happened to me too. Or, something similar happened to me too. So, for the people in my community, when I see kids, I mean, I'm still in college myself. I'm a freshman. But when I see teenagers like go through things, I'm like, I remember when I was in Watts and that was me, and I know that it's forever going to keep going unless someone steps up and does something about it. So yeah, that's why I try to, get involved with my community as much as possible while still trying to manage, my own burdens, but it's just because I want to help people. Like, that same little girl that's struggling in Watts, that was me once upon a time, I'm in a much better position now because, I have support from Alastio, College Track Watts, I'm in college. But there's people still in Watts that don't have any of those resources. So that, just seeing what they go through, it just reminds me of what I went through. And, then I have sympathy and I'm like, yeah, like I have to do something for them because if I was little, like I wish somebody would have done something for me when I was small, So yeah, that's really what it is, my community.
That's beautiful. It's a community that shaped you.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that makes me really happy, just because there's a positive trend with that. Because a lot of people, maybe in the Black community, I can speak for, there's a stigma around the hood, right? Like there's a lot of times a negative connotation, and that sort of perpetuates this idea that it is less than other communities in other parts of the world, and you are an example of the reality of that. Like not everybody holds themselves back, or not everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm trying to put it, but you're shining light on the truth of the narrative, right? Like if given the opportunity, if given the resources,
we're more than you think.
We're more than what people try to project onto you or to shape a particular narrative.
Absolutely.
And just the fact that you're doing the work and other people like you are doing the work. I'm happy that you're able to speak to that, because not a lot of people know that, or it's just something that not a lot of people think about. I hope that makes sense. I know I'm kind of rambling, but it's nice to hear and it's nice to see. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I understand completely what you're saying. A lot of people, they have this negative opinion about the hood. They're like, they're all like criminals. And they don't work, they don't go to college, they don't do this. Like, no, like people in the hood are one of the hardest working people in the whole world. Because we have it harder than people in Beverly Hills and Santa Monica and so on, And we still make a way, we still try to make a living. We still try to, push forward. And not saying that everything that they say about the hood is fake, because a lot of it is real, like poverty, gang violence. Like, I've had to deal with that all my life. But I feel like that's something that inspired me to change, because I'm like, where I grew up, I didn't have anyone to, like influence me or motivate me to be like them. I only had people that I didn't want to be like. So seeing all the bad that I had to experience in Watts, it made me and it motivated me to, go to college, work and come back and give back to the community so that younger kids don't have to go through that either. Yeah. But it's a misconception, honestly, of what people say about the hood, because there's people there that, want to get out and want to come back to help. There's people that want to go to college. They're not just like thugs and, just staying there and doing nothing or being criminals. Like, there's way more to it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's trailblazing.
Yeah.
You're blazing trail. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure.
That is the most beautiful. You beautifully described it, because I grew up with a single mom as well, and we didn't have much, and we experienced a lot. But then, when you realize, okay, this is what I don't want, not just for me, but also for anyone else, and for my future children, if you plan on having them, you can just like feeling that, like, I want to do this, I want to do that, but I know what I don't want to be, to become. And sometimes that's a beautiful way of looking at life or whatever that's happening around you, because it makes you stronger.
Yeah.
They say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah, for sure. And it's true. It's very true.
It is very true. And sometimes when people are going through hardship, it's important for the rest of the world to not marginalize them even more. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when people need help. That's not when they need criticizing. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm glad you survived. I would say you survived all the hardship, and you have become this strong woman that we have now. We're talking to. Not a lot of people at your age will be able to hold this live conversation for 30 minutes and inspire people even who are double your age.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it made you outgrow faster. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, for sure. It made me mature a lot.
It did, and I hope you continue to grow and to learn, and the world will be a better place with more people like you.
Yeah, for sure. I know. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, before we let you go, though, we have one more question, and that is, what message would you like to share to all young people, young women, young men who are trying to push themselves to do something that they really feel like they should do, to leave a lasting impact? What message would you want to share to those young people?
Oh my God, that's a tough question. Just don't be scared to do it, because if you don't do it, you'll regret it. And if you do it, then you'll get to live, knowing that you did it and that you tried. Definitely try to make the best out of your life. Try to, improve in as many ways as you can, but don't, whether that's going to college or that's, getting a job, being successful in your own way, being an entrepreneur, whatever your goals and aspirations are, like, do it. Take the first step, because the first step is always the hardest. And then from there, you just have to, be consistent, keep going. For the people that are, growing up in communities similar to the ones that I grew up in, I would definitely say to, try to get out, but don't forget where you came from, and come back and help the people that were like you one day and that they need help. So yeah, don't be scared. Like, life is too short. You need to go in and take life head on, and, don't be scared. Do what you got to do, and, make this world a better place, because that's all really we can do.
Oh, thank you. That's so beautiful.
The chat is
yes. And I just learned something. Yeah. It's a great reminder for everyone too. It is. Absolutely. Do you have hope?
Yes, I do. There's
What
been
does
so
hope
many
mean to
changes.
you?
Hope means just holding on to the idea, knowing things will get better. You know, you're like, things might not be good today, but tomorrow's a new day, and you know we can always improve. The way that I see things in life is nothing is temporary. I mean, everything is temporary. I'm sorry. Nothing is solid. Like, you know, if it rains today, it might not rain tomorrow. You know, everything is temporary, even if it lasts days or weeks or months or years. Like one day it's gonna change, you know.
Yeah.
Especially if we have a lot of people in on it, on the same idea, then it's gonna change at a faster rate. So, you know, hope to me, just knowing that everything is temporary and that things will change for the better.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy we had you today.
I am too.
Yeah,
It's a
so
great
Thank
Sunday.
you.
it is. And we wish you all the best, all the success, all the beautiful life ahead of you.
Thank
You
you.
still have a long life to live, so
Yeah,
wish
for
you
sure.
nothing but wonderful things.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
You're
having me. I
welcome.
wish you guys the best as well. And
Thank you.
again, thank you for inviting me. It was really nice talking to you.
Thank you. We had so much fun.
Thank you. Me too.
All right, bye.
Bye.